Hey YouTube, there is a new Team Go Rocket event going on. So new Shadow Palkia, new Pokemon. So we're gonna look at that, where it ranks in the Great League, and new Shadow Pokemon. So we're gonna look at all that right now because there are some things that you should be hunting for the Great League. Not just Great League. Sorry, Palkia's actually the Shadow Palkia actually is quite high in the Master League too. So let's look at the event details. Then we'll look at the analysis of the GBL Pokemon. Yeah. So this is a Team Go Rocket event. So whenever you have a Rocket takeover, you are we'll go to the event details, but you're likely to be able to TM away frustration. So first things, January 15th, which is tomorrow, until Sunday, January 19th. Pokemon debut, the toxic mouse Pokemon Shroodle and its evolved form Grafaiai will make its debut. Starting with the event, it will be available in 12-kilometer eggs. So good news, bad news. Go check out my video yesterday morning where we talked about how all these new Pokemon are egg locked or raid locked, and this is egg locked. However, as you're going to see in the rankings, it's actually not a highly ranked GBL Pokemon just yet, so if you don't get one right away, it is okay. Event bonuses, more Team Go Rocket balloons, and use the charge TM to get rid of frustration. So you can just at frustration, and it'll bring up all the Pokemon with frustration, and you can just TM away all those Pokemon. Crognut wearing a Fashion Week costume for your snapshots. Shadow Palkia. So Shadow Research will be unlocked at the beginning of the event. Progress through it to receive a Super Rocket Radar and chase down Giovanni. You can claim this research until March 4th. So definitely have some time for Palkia. New Shadow Pokemon. We kind of gone over this in the other video, but it's Tailo, Snivy, Tepig, Oshawott, Trubbish, and Bunnelby. And there's only two Pokemon on this list that we care about. Snivy is Serperior and Bunnelby is Diggersby. So we are going to look, the rankings are updated. So we will look at where these new Pokemon rank in the GBL. 12-kilometer egg Shroodle. So thank you, Niantic. 1-star raids, Nidorans, Totodile, Ralts, and then 3-stars Lectos, Magmar, Wobbuffet. So not much there. Field research, charge TMs. Hey, mysterious components, charge TMs, and fast TMs. So whenever you can get charge TMs from research, like those, you go through charge TMs quite fast. So definitely look at getting some charge TMs, collection challenges, showcases, money. No. Okay, so this new Pokemon, egg locked. However, ranked 287. So it's a Mudslap user ranked 287. So Mudslap is obviously one of the best fast moves in the game, but it got buffed. So there's definitely going to be some things holding this Pokemon back. And right off the bat, it is its stat product. 134 attack, 106 defense, 115 defense. So it is this is like the worst because it's a glass cannon without being a glass cannon. Because 134 attack is high, but it's not like a nuke one. Like if you wanted a glass cannon, like Morpeko, like more. These are the Pokemon that are at like 141, right? That is a glass cannon. If you're gonna have crap defense and stamina and just be a glass cannon, be a glass cannon. So 147, as opposed to this one, which is like 134, which is like a high attack but not super high. But then you have low defense and stamina. That makes you even worse, right? So right off the bat, I don't love that. Let's go to typings first, then we'll go to stats. Poison, normal. That's actually quite a unique typing. So weak to ground, which there is a ton of in this meta, and psychic. You know, outside of Malamar's Psywave, there's not a ton of psychic. But then the normal typing, double resisting ghost, and then resisting poison, grass, fairy, and bug. With your poison typing, which is quite nice, right? There's decent amount of grass, decent amount of poison, some ghost there. So the typing itself, so stat product, terrible. Typing, great. I actually like this typing. This is really nice offset here. And the normal poison neutralized fighting. So I like the typing. Ooh, you can already see why this thing is getting nowhere. Mudslap, yes, fantastic. Really hard hitting. Oh, you don't even get stab on it. That's why it sucks too. Then why would you not use poison jab? Okay, so here's the thing. It's because the way the meta is, and this is why this Pokemon is going to struggle right off the bat with it. These moves are terrible. Mudslap, one of the best fast moves in the game. If you have a ground type Pokemon where you get same type attack bonus on it, having a Mudslap user that is normal poison where you don't get the same type attack bonus is bad. So much so that with the same type of attack bonus, Poison Jab at 3.5 damage energy per turn and 4.2 damage per turn is actually better than Mud Slap in both the damage per energy and the energy per turn, and it's a 2 versus 3 turn move. So why they're recommending Mud Slap over this is, I don't know. Like, again, it's based on sims. So, but if you're just looking at just pure stats, 100% go with Poison Jab. However, running a poison fast move with only poison charge moves in a ground dominated meta is not going to get you very far. So, however, Poison Fang, you know, I like having a Poison Fang. Let's just turn this to this so we can see how many actual turns it takes to get to these moves. So it takes you 12 to get to a Poison Fang, which is not super fast, but Poison Jab is such a hard-hitting move, especially with Stab, and you're so attack heavy. So having a Poison Jab, Poison Fang combo, even though it doesn't do a lot, I like it. Obviously, Sledge Bomb is the next thing you'd use to be able to lower your opponent's... to actually hit your opponent. So 96 damage, 50 energy, 1.92. Not bad, but 50 energy. So a little slower to get to. So 1, you don't have a coverage move here. 2, given how glassy you are and that Poison Fang doesn't really do a ton of damage, it does lower your opponent's defense where you can just kind of out Poison Jab them potentially, which is a little hard to do with an attack heavy Pokemon. You're going to have to commit some shields here. Like, you need a second move that 1 is not poison and 2 is in that like 35 to 40 energy range, maybe even 45 if it's like a really nice coverage hard move. 50 is, I think, a little too high for this Pokemon. So between the stat product being just like not attack heavy enough for the defense and stamina, getting non-stab on the Mud Slaps, so you have to go with Poison Jab, which means you only have poison moves in a ground dominated meta. Do not worry about not getting this Pokemon immediately, because right now this does not have play. So we can look at it in the Ultra League, but I can't imagine it. Yeah, 165. There's so many other better Pokemon, so it makes sense that this is not anything you need to worry about. Okay, there is a couple things you need to worry about. Diggersby. Now, I did a quick analysis. So the rankings say the Shadow is lower ranked than the non-Shadow. So we're going to put this in, but we're also going to put in one other one. So 16 and 20 record versus the normal Diggersby that has a 14 and 22 record. So a worse record for the normal typing, but I'm guessing a better average because that's why it's ranked higher. 506 versus 49, right? So yes, you pick up more wins, a couple more wins with the Shadow, but your your overall average is much worse. So we're gonna actually put this on the other layout here so you can see, but we're gonna look at two things. So first we're gonna look at Diggersby Quick Attack with Fire Punch and Scorching Sands, which is the recommended moveset. Then we're gonna look at Diggersby as the Shadow with the same movesets: Quick Attack, Fire Punch, Scorching Sands. What other people have mentioned is this thing could be scary with a normal type return, because you can purify this thing and get return on it, and you are normal typing yourself, so you get stab on this same type attack bonus. So that return is going to hurt a lot. So now we have to look at one with Fire Punch, and then we also have to look at one with Scorching Sands. So Scorching Sands return. So the first one, normal one. Second one, if you have the same moves with Shadow typing. Third one, Purified with Fire Punch return. Fourth one, Purified with Scorching Sands and return. In the one shield, we'll just leave the IVs as is, so it won't be a perfect view. Okay, so first of all, what you can see is there's just a... Jeez. I guess you have to maximize it because that's what gives Diggersby... Sorry, yeah, you got to maximize it because that's what gives Diggersby its strengths. So we'll just max stat product. Yeah, okay. We'll max stat product both of them. It's not going to be a great comparison, but like that's just the strength of Diggersby is if you have like a low attack one, it's so bulky, which makes it valuable. Okay, so we're going to just scroll to the end just so we can see the averages and the win-losses. And everyone was right. That return makes this Pokemon very, very scary. So 21 and 16 regular. Again, these are max IV, so the actual, depending on your IV and breakpoints and stuff, may be a little different. But 21-16 as the non-shadow, 18 and 18 as the shadow, 23 and 14 with the highest average 530 with Fire Punch and Return, and then the highest win record 25 and 12, 524 average with the Scorching Sands and Return. Picking up, looks like Bibarel, Cresselia, for Alligators, Marowak, Quagsire, and Talonflame with this Return. So Return is huge on this Pokemon. Again, so the question, so when it comes down to it, it's like, why is one better than the other? What are the strengths and weaknesses? So it always comes down to, with Shadow, you get 20% more damage output, but you take 20% more damage. So the question is, are you now being taken out quicker, but not taking that amount as fast, or are you taking them out that still can't take you out? So it's easier to explain with Serperior, but I'll just give one example for the Shadow because I looked at it last time. Let's see if they still have the crest here. Yeah, so you can just see the numbers here. It just gives you you're still going to lose, but it just gives you a better idea. So the non-shadow crest, you lose 441 with the grass knots, and the shadow you lose 294, and that is because in the non-shadow you can take 2 grass knots from Cresselia, and they have to get more fast move and maybe even a 3rd charge move off, whereas here they just need to get 2 grass knots off to take you out, because that extra 20% damage that you were taking takes you out before, like, quicker, whereas the damage you're doing to them does not offset. So a lot of times when you see these like dips and losses, it's because the damage you're taking from the shadow is not offset by your strengths of being a shadow Pokemon, and that's very prevalent, as we're going to see in Serperior in 1 second here. But having the return is big, and what actually there's always, when you look at these win-loss records, there's always the concern that with a move like return that is so high energy, that this is going to be bait dependent. So having Fire Punch Return having a lower win-loss record than Scorching Sands is actually strong, because that indicates that yes, you still may need to bait Scorching Sands, but it's less bait dependent. So it's not like you need to bait a very fast Fire Punch and then land a return, like, because Scorching Sands is like, what, 2 extra turns to get to, and you're still picking up more wins there. So with that move coverage, and the return is quite strong. So return Diggersby might be strong. And why is that? Let's look at Diggersby for a second, and we'll go to the stat products here. And it's because Fire Punch was a nice coverage move. It's a bait move. It's a 40 energy move for 60 damage. You have Scorching Sands, which you get same type attack bonus on. And here is where it comes down to the same type attack bonus, the nuke, and the energy and the damage and your health. Return is a normal type move. You are a normal type Pokemon, so you get same type attack bonus on it. It is slow. It is a 70 energy move. That is quite a lot of energy to get to a move. However, Quick Attack is a decent charging move, 4 energy per turn, so it means it takes 18 turns to get to. So that in itself is not amazing. However, it's not with these bulky Pokemon, you can get away with it. And I'll show you, if you haven't, Toxpex were still ranked super, super high at 18. Toxpex, because it has Poison Jab, slow energy, Sludge Wave takes 10 to get to the first one, which means it takes 20 and then 18. So basically, with Sludge Wave 132, if you can get by with Toxapex getting to Sludge Wave for 132 damage, you can definitely get by with Diggersby doing a higher damage move and return 156 for less energy, right? So that's the way you need to think about it. Toxapex with Sludge Wave works. I now have a harder hitting move that is quicker to get to and less likely to be resisted by a lot of the stuff in this meta, because a lot of stuff that resists the poison, like the ground and stuff, will take neutral to return. So, and because Diggersby has the bulk as a purified Pokemon, as like just a normal Diggersby, return is looking quite nice. And then still having the Scorching Sands. Yes, 14 is not the fastest to get to. So, I don't love, like, personally, I don't love a Pokemon where the first move to get to is 14, like you're thinking it's like a zoom roll, right? The first move to get to is 15 with Ice Beam and then 18 Play Rough. So it's a little slower. These slower Pokemon I don't love using. That's my personally. I've always loved using Swamperts and Togedemaru, like the spammier Pokemon. So if you do run a Scorching Sands return, it'll be slower. But to have a move that does like 96 damage on Scorching Sands, potential to lower your opponent's attack, 156 on return, and having the bulk with you, I think this becomes a very nice Pokemon to use. Gives up a little bit of your like grass coverage because you're giving up the fire. But that's okay. And like, what else do you need to worry about? Like giving up ice, but that's fine. Like you Scorching Sands and return is regular. Return will be resisted on like rock and steel, and Scorching Sands will deal with that. So it's got nice coverage. So I really think that return Diggersby is probably one. Like I would personally, if I were you, hunt multiple Shadow Diggersby, and then definitely Purify at least one, because I think Purified is probably going to be the way to go. So that is Diggersby. Definitely out there hunting for that. Serperior, way less. 42 versus 104, and this is one that is very easy to explain. So we'll go Serperior. Again, this is not getting stab with. We'll put in the Purified, but it's not getting stab on it, so I can't imagine that it is getting anywhere near where it needs to be with return. But we'll put it in just to see, and we'll maximize just for comparison's sake. And we have, I guess you do pick up more wins with the return, but way less average, right? Because you're less, so more wins, but less average. Okay. It's funny because the Frenzy actually does pick up more, the Shadow picks up more wins and a higher average, but it's ranked way lower. So it says you pick up Annihilate, Cresselia, Darkspun, Dugong, Malamar, but you lose Corsola, Licky, and Primeape. So you know, there's what it says on paper and how it's going to play in practice, and I would say it's going to play more in practice like it's ranking than it will on paper. And here's why. This is an easy one for me because you have no fast move pressure here. I've explained in the past why Shadow Pokemon like Sableye have become better. Non-Shadow Sableye took 2 foul plays to take out your opponent. You go Shadow Claw, foul play, Shadow Claw, foul play. When it got the Shadow bonus, it now only took 1. Shadow Claw, foul play, Shadow Claws to take it out. And that's what made the Shadow Sableye scarier. Serperior has no fast move pressure. And Frenzy Plant is a super hard hitting move that's going to 2-shot pretty much anything, right? So if you go against whatever, like Dunsparce, if you go against like bulky Pokemon, or any sort of neutral Pokemon, 1 Frenzy will not take out. You most likely need a second one. And sometimes you can just go Frenzy Plant, Aerial Ace. So now you put the Shadow in here. Does taking 20% more damage change the way that your charge moves go? Now Vine Whip has like no real damage pressure. So having a little extra damage for Vine Whip does not matter too much. It's not like Shadow Claw. It's not like your counter users, right? Those are not, the Vine Whip is not a move that having the Shadow adds any pressure to your opponents. Frenzy, even as a Shadow, is not going to one-shot a lot of these things, right? So where you have, let's see if I put it in here. Let me just go to like something like Dunsparce. I'm just thinking about Dunsparce off the top of my head. Yes, so you have a lower average. Let me just make sure that you guys can see it. You have a lower average here against Dunsparce as the Shadow versus non-Shadow. And the reason for that is sorry. I was about to say, I can feel like my thing just... Okay. Because in the non-Shadow, you had to go double Frenzy anyways, right? 1 shield, 1 Frenzy, and then the Frenzy to take it out. That's really not going to change with the Shadow, right? You have the shield, you get the move, and then you still need a second move. But now the problem is because the extra damage that they're doing to you, you're down to 2 HP, whereas opposed to the other one, you had 25 HP because you're taking more damage, but you're still doing the same amount of moves to take it out. And that's the thing. I don't think that Frenzy is going to suddenly start one-shotting a bunch of stuff. Now, perhaps on like maybe less bulky Pokemon, you can go Frenzy Aerial Ace instead of having to go 2 Frenzies. That could be a change. But the difference in Frenzy versus Aerial Ace is 1. So it's not like you're even like, if it was like substantial, if it was like, if Frenzy Plant was like 8 or 9 turns to get to, and Aerial Ace was 5, and it was like, okay, now I can go Frenzy Aerial Ace instead of having to go 2 Frenzies. Like that makes a difference. But when the difference in moves is only 1, you know, you don't get a huge amount of difference here, and the Frenzy Plant is not one-shotting. So that is why, in my opinion, even though on paper it says like, oh yeah, sorry, I already think I took the paper away. That the, yeah, I already took it away. That the Serperior Shadow picks up more. I think in practice, you're going to find that the regular Serperior is better. And the last thing we'll look at is Palkia, because hello, Shadow Palkia is at number 7 here. Now, I don't think there's any point of using this one over, like I still use Origin Form just because Spatial Rend is such a crazy move, right? 50 energy, 114 damage for 2.28. Like if you're using the Shadow, you still need to throw that Draco Meteor on. Now, maybe as a Shadow, you can maybe just go Dragon Breath Aqua Tail. I'm still thinking you need to probably throw some Dracos here. So I would personally just go with the Origin and Spatial Rend. But like if you have enough XLs to build, like good on you. But if you have them to build up, then just use the Shadow Palkia too. But I honestly, I think you could just get away with Palkia Origin. But yeah, that's it. So all in all, you know, yeah, in conclusion, get a Diggersby. Probably get multiple Shadow Diggersby. Purify at least 1. You can hunt a Shadow Serperior. Maybe just keep it. I don't think Purified is going to change much. And then maybe use it, test it out yourself. But I still think that you're still probably going to need 2 Frenzies for most things. And then if you want to hunt 12k eggs, go for it. I'm not going to waste my time. So that is it. Let me know in the comments what you think. And I will see you guys in the next one.